He is being treated not just as a former president, but almost as though he is a sitting president. As Boris, you just noted, getting a briefing from FEMA, getting a briefing from the National Guard. That is not something that is typically just offered to a candidate. They are treating him as though he is a former president who is there to help. And one thing that I had noticed earlier during our 1 p.m. conversation was that Donald Trump did not have that much to offer in terms of resources since he is not a sitting president. But I will note that he and the campaign say that they have arrived in that area with trucks full of supplies that they plan on giving out. So there is something there for them to offer. He also said that he had a tanker truck full of gasoline, which obviously, if you've ever covered one of these storms, you understand that one of the first things and hardest things to come by is gasoline. So he said that he was going to be giving that out. He is clearly taking this seriously as a politician is on the ground, trying to show that he is there in support of the people on the ground in Georgia.
Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Kamala. This way. Go. This way. This way.
Thanks so much.
This way.
Heading out this way.
The legacy media is going through a full-blown panic. Just 5 weeks from Election Day, Kamala is actually experiencing her own Katrina, all at the same time that dock workers across ports on the East Coast and Gulf regions have gone on strike. We're going to take a look at this perfect storm of disasters to beset Kamala and how it's causing the legacy media to literally lose it on live television. Make sure to stick with me to the very end of this video. You are not going to believe your eyes. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We are going to dive right in here, but I did want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of Liver Health Formula. Now, if you're one of the 100 million Americans struggling with all that weight gain and loss of energy that comes with a fatty liver, gang, this is an absolutely awesome solution. Liver Health Formula is an all-natural supplement. It contains 12 clinically proven botanicals that help recharge and protect your liver. It's manufactured right here in the USA, and it's approved by independent American doctors. And if you click on that link below right now, you can actually try Liver Health Formula and receive a free bottle of blood sugar formula when you order today. So don't let a fatty liver keep you sluggish and inactive. Those of you who've been with me for a while, you know I myself recently lost over 60 pounds. I could say it was one of the best decisions I ever made. And now it's your turn. Click on that link below. Go to getliverhelp.com/Turley and claim your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Turley.
People who need it.
I think the optics of this over the weekend for Biden and Harris have been pretty poor. I mean, North Carolina is underwater. These people are devastated and struggling. But you've got Biden at the beach and then saying, what do you want from me? I got on the phone while I was at the beach. And you've got Harris out raising money on the campaign and then taking a photo on a plane. Now, I remember George W. Bush was pilloried for having a photo taken from Air Force One. She's got a photo on a plane, and the earphones don't appear to be connected to the phone, and the paper looks like it's blank. So it looked like a stage sort of thing. I thought the optics for them were very bad.
Bush,
That's Scott Jennings speaking some truth on CNN, and the truth is the last 48 hours have been an absolute optics disaster for the Harris-Biden administration. I mean, there's simply no way around it. You can try to sugarcoat it all you want. This is Kamala's Katrina. Her response has been an abject disaster, as has Biden's. PJ Media's Stephen Cruiser had a great piece this morning talking about the political ramifications of this disaster. And he noted that this Hurricane Helene is basically driving a stake through the heart of Kamala's claim that she wants to be president for all Americans. Yeah, sure, as long as you don't live in deep red areas in northern Georgia or eastern Tennessee or western North Carolina, sure. For everyone else, sure, she'll be your president. But for those of you in the deep red areas of Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, you're on your own. Just like those East Palestiners were in Ohio. Tough luck. But then again, it may not be political malice that's driving this obvious indifference. After all, we've been here before. You may remember that it took Biden 2 weeks before he came out to visit the victims of the Maui fires in deep blue, that is deep Democrat, Hawaii. These are the worst fires in our nation's history. So as the fires were ravaging Maui, here's what Joe Biden was doing.
Mr. President, are you going to take questions on Maui?
Can you come talk about Maui? Can you come talk about Maui, Mr. President?
Can you talk about Maui, Mr. President? Can you please, Mr. President, please, can you talk about Maui? If you're listening by way of our 20 million podcast downloads, that's Biden riding his bike while he was, yes, once again on vacation. He was there with his stupid helmet on, looking like a child, looking like he's riding a tricycle. At least he didn't fall off this time. But yes, then like now, he was on vacation at the same place. It is a beach house in Lewis, Delaware, just an hour away from your humble host here. Days went by. You remember this. Days went by. And yet Biden, who again was on vacation throughout this entire horror, these fires in Maui, he said nothing. He had no comment whatsoever on the deadliest fires in our nation's history. It took him 2 weeks to show up to the scene of the devastation. And when he did eventually come, this is how he was rightfully greeted.
Wow, he's finally here. Wow, yeah. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing. You. Hey, right here. Hey, you, Joe Biden. You.
So I got to say, I don't know if this heartless indifference that we're seeing today to so much suffering is partisan. It literally appears that it's radical incompetence. The consistent indifference to suffering that we've been seeing from this administration. Here's how one commentator put it. They put it very well. Quote, "The Biden-Harris administration has yet again shown its complete inability to effectively manage disaster responses. From its appalling handling of the tragedy in Lahaina, Maui, to its blatant indifference toward the people of East Palestine, Ohio, and now the failure to properly aid the victims of Hurricane Helene, especially in Asheville, North Carolina, the pattern is clear. Time and time again, we've witnessed an administration incapable of stepping up when it's needed most." Now, by contrast, Trump has been absolutely crushing it, just like he did during the crisis in East Palestine, Ohio. Trump announced that he has been working directly with Elon Musk to get Starlink set up in areas ravaged by the flooding. Trump noted that with all the devastation, obviously hyperconnectivity and communication has been completely disrupted. Here's what he had to say.
Homes, hospitals, highways, and cars have been plunged underwater. Entire neighborhoods have been turned into lakes. Nobody's seen anything like it. And to every family that's been displaced here in Georgia and North Carolina, which has really been hit. We were going there also, and they don't have communication. They don't have anything right now. We're trying to. I just spoke to Elon. I'm getting him. We want to get Starlink hooked up because they have no communication whatsoever. And Elon will always come through. We know that. And so we're working on that, getting them hooked up. They asked me whether or not that would be possible. And we're going to try and get the Starlink in there as soon as possible because they have no communication.
Elon Musk himself confirmed that SpaceX has sent as many Starlink terminals as possible to help the areas in need. And he noted that Trump himself followed up by telling him that there were additional people, particularly in western North Carolina, whose communications are completely broken down, and that Musk did affirm that he was sending them terminals immediately. I mean, Trump and Musk are just absolutely crushing it here. They're rising to the occasion, and they're not alone. Even the embattled Republican gubernatorial candidate, Mark Robinson, is rising to the occasion as well.
Hey guys, Lieutenant Governor Robinson, still up here in the western part of the state. And guys, I'm going to show you something. This is North Carolina right here. Look at this. We got civilian, we got law enforcement, we got the pride of North Carolina, North Carolina's National Guardsmen out here, guys. And all of these folks are out here working hard as you are back home to send in these donations that you see coming in, to get out here to these flood victims, these victims of this hurricane. Guys, this is North Carolina at its absolute finest right here. Just want you to take a look at what's going on right there. You see sheriff deputies working along with National Guard, with civilian guys. You got a civilian truck here. You got the sheriff's vehicle back there, just like it was when we came up here, when I bought my own vehicle up here, guys. This is an all hands on deck situation. That means my hands, your hands, every elected official's hands. We have got to answer the call for these people up here in Western Carolina. And it is happening, folks. And it's happening because of you and all the great people in this state, guys. So God bless y'all, and we'll see y'all soon. Thank you.
And make no mistake, the legacy media is seeing this. They're seeing this optics disaster in the making, and they're starting to absolutely freak out. I promised you were going to see an epic meltdown on live TV. Check out this rabid left-wing MSNBC contributor.
Donald Trump got in 2020. So it took historic numbers to beat him, right? And so now we get enamored with the Dick Cheneys and the Liz Cheneys and the Flakes and the da-da-da-da, right? And this man is running around here busting his chops, scaring the hell out of communities, right? And we're trying to figure out how to keep that middle, locked in on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous. He's dangerous to particular people. And the history of the country is such that we can't play fast and loose with it. Fast and loose with it. Does that make sense?
Isn't it incumbent on all of us to protect the people who are in danger by him?
But you never have. That's the rub. You never have. And so part of what we have to do in the midst of this is to engage in a deep-seated political calculus, right? Even though we know that she has to get the middle, we got to come out and try to figure out how to turn out in large historic numbers, because we got to keep this troglodyte out of office. Because if he comes in, our babies are going to be in danger. Because remember, those young children are going to grow up with the memory of having to not go to school for the threat of bombs. And somebody told them that their moms and dads eat cats, they eat cats and dogs. I'll get myself together, Claire.
Okay, take a minute. Deep breath.
Well, what about
I
that?
understand. I understand what you're saying. It is
Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Deep breath. Serenity now. Serenity now. I mean, the political theater has gotten so utterly absurd from this legacy media of late. I can think about it. This guy is flipping. This guy is literally melting down on air because President Trump had the gall to violate his woke, politically correct norms. All while at the same time, this same guy doesn't give a flipping shit about the concerns of the citizens of Springfield, a town of 60,000 that's been overrun by 20,000 Haitian migrants. And he doesn't give a flipping shit because it was Kamala who did that. Once again, we're seeing political correctness and identity politics completely marginalize and disenfranchise rural America. And unfortunately for Mr. Deep Breath, rural America's fighting back. All his platitudes and rhetorical whining mean nothing to tens of millions of Americans who are sick and tired of being disenfranchised and ignored by our elite and political pundit class who care more about protected identities than they care about the actual citizens of this country who pay the taxes that allow these people to be shipped in the first place. And now to make matters even worse, as if the nightmare couldn't get even scarier, more than 45,000, let that number hit you, more than 45,000 dock workers, members of the ILA, or the International Longshoremen's Association from ports all across the East Coast and the Gulf region, are as of today officially on strike. This threatens a massive disruption in supply chains across the nation. The strike has literally brought billions of dollars in trade to a screeching halt. In fact, one of the big concerns is that if the strike persists for more than a week, retailers could face massive shortages in their inventory, which has the potential of course, sparking another wave of inflation with higher demand but less supply. So this goes way beyond just supply chain shortages. This could lead to even further escalating the already out of control inflation. So things just keep getting worse and worse for the Cackles Kamala regime, just 5 weeks away from the big day.